Oh my goodness. Look at the time. Look at the time. Look. It's 10 o'clock here in the UK. Not in the morning, at night. It is now 10 o'clock at night here in the UK. Hi everybody. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? Are you feeling as happy as I am? You know what? I don't think it's normal for anyone to be this lively at 10 o'clock at night. But here I am, feeling oh so happy today. Do you know why I feel happy? Because earlier tonight I was listening to lots of 1980s music. Of course, during the 1980s I was a teenager, between the ages of 16 and 24. I lived through the 1980s, and of course during the 1980s there was lots of great music. Just to show you how much I love 1980s music. Look at all of these CDs that I have. Can you see? So there is one, Club 80s. Lots of disco music from the 1980s. Also another CD collection, the greatest hits of the 1980s. As you can see, I really do like 1980s music because that is when I was growing up. And also another one, Into the 1980s. And that was what I was doing earlier. I was getting into the groove of the 1980s, and oh, here is another compilation. Lots of great 80s songs, lots of electronic music. Can you see there? It says Electronic 80s, the collection. So I love 1980s music. I don't know about you, maybe you don't, maybe you are very young and perhaps you were born a long time after the 1980s. But can I just say now, 1980s music still is the best. Whatever anyone says, I know that some people think that music from the 1960s was good. You had groups like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, but between you and me, I think music from the 1980s was the best. I have had such a busy day today, so busy. I had to wash some of Mr. Steve's stinky clothes, and when I was emptying the washing machine earlier, I don't know if this happens to you. Does this happen to you? You always end up with one spare sock, and here it is. So this is the sock that was left at the bottom of the washing machine, and I've looked everywhere but I can't find the other sock. I don't know where it is. So could you please do me a favour? Could you have a look around your house, or maybe the area you are sitting in now? Could you have a look please? If you see a sock that looks like this, then it's actually Mr. Steve's other sock. It always happens though, doesn't it? Whenever you do some washing, if you put some socks in the washing machine, you always lose at least one sock. Talking of Mr. Steve, I already know that many people will be waiting patiently to see Mr. Steve. Well, sadly, at the moment, Mr. Steve isn't here. He has gone out tonight because he's gone to a rehearsal. He's appearing in a show in around about 3 weeks' time. So he's out tonight doing a rehearsal for a show. But guess what? I think Mr. Steve will be back in around about 10 or 15 minutes time. So maybe we will get a chance to see Mr. Steve arrive back home from his big rehearsal tonight. And I will ask Steve to talk about the show that he's doing because it's very interesting. It's quite exciting. So why am I here? Well, the reason why I'm here at this very late hour, because it is now 5 minutes past 10 at night. Now, normally, most people are getting ready for bed now here in the UK, but here I am now dancing around in front of a camera live to the world. Now, the reason why I'm here is because, as some of you might know, I've had some problems with my computer over the past 2 or 3 months. And last week we had a lot of problems. In fact, the computer was really having a big problem doing anything. Now, the reason is because the computer is 8 years old and it needs upgrading or maybe even replacing. So, of course, at the moment I'm putting a little bit of money aside. I'm trying to save up. Also, I've had some lovely donations as well from you. So, first of all, can I say a big thank you to the following people? Can I say a big thank you to Tatiana, and also to Elspeth and Ute, also Tetsuya and Anna. Can I say a big thank you to you? And there it is. Thank you very much for your kind donations. If you wish to make a small donation, or a large donation maybe, to help me get my computer sorted out, I'm hoping to have some good news next week. At the moment, I'm just doing some pricing. Now, here is something you might not realise. Did you know that cryptocurrency is actually affecting the price of computer parts? Did you know that? Because I didn't know that. But apparently, the price of computer parts, mainly the graphics card, so the price of graphics cards have actually gone up over the past couple of months. Do you know why though? Because it has something to do with cryptocurrency. Just in case there is anyone out there who knows all about Bitcoins and all the other cryptocurrencies that exist, apparently, shall I tell you now or shall I tell you on Sunday? I think I will tell you that on Sunday because I don't want to use everything up. If I tell you everything now, then you won't join me on Sunday. Don't forget, I am here on Sunday live. It might not be the normal live stream, unfortunately. I apologise for that. But I will be here and so will Mr. Steve. And I'm hoping that in a few moments, Mr. Steve will be here live with us. Sadly, at the moment, he's out. He's out, but he will return very soon. Shall we have a look at the live chat? Because the live chat is now working. So hello to everyone who has joined me. It's Mr. Duncan, very late at night. It is now 10 minutes past 10 o'clock at night. Most of my neighbours have already gone to bed. And here I am standing in my house behind me. Can you see this? Can you see it's very plain? So there isn't much behind me. It's very blank. There isn't much here to look at. Although you have me. So my neighbours have gone to bed, all of them. And I'm still here talking to you live on YouTube. So let's have a look at the live chat, shall we? Just a moment. So here we go. Let's have a look. Do we have the live chat? Oh yes, there are lots of people on the live chat at the moment. It's time to say hello to a few people. In fact, there are lots of people on the live chat at the moment. I will now say hello to Saika Afridi, also Recruitment. Hello, Recruitment. Hello to you. Shirin is here as well. Alya. Hello, Alya. Belarusia. Hello, Belarusia. Thanks for joining me. What time is it where you are? I would imagine it must be early. Also, hello to Jax Gaming. Hello, Jax Gaming. Thanks for joining me. It's Mr. Duncan. I normally teach English on YouTube through videos, and also every Sunday I am here on the live chat every Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time. And very soon I'm hoping to be on YouTube live more often. Yes, more frequent. We will see what happens. Nicole is here. Hello, Nicole. I'm happy to see you. Thank you. I'm very happy to see you as well. Because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here now doing this. Hello to Salma, also Long Nguyen or Long Win. And also to Ahmed, hello to you as well. Amri Wadi is here. Hello, Amri Wadi. I haven't seen you for a long time. Where have you been? We've missed you. We've all missed you. It's now 12 a.m. midnight. It's after midnight in Egypt. Talking of Egypt, whilst we're talking about Egypt, I saw a very interesting program on television last night, and it was all about the Egyptian, or should I say the ancient Egyptian times and culture. And it was very interesting, actually. It was only on for half an hour, but there was so much information in the program, and there were some things that I didn't know. For example, the Egyptian empire, the Egyptian culture. The ancient Egyptians had a flourishing culture for over 3,000 years. And I must admit, I didn't realise that. So, yes, very interesting. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Can you say hi to my nephews, Anas and Sufa? Hello, Anas. And also a big hi to Sufa as well. Thank you very much for joining me. And also a big hello to Amani Lamano. So hello to all of you. Thanks for joining me. It's very late at the moment. Sergio. Oh, Sergio also loves music from the 1980s and also the 1990s. Oh, thank you, Sergio, for that. In my country, it is now 4 p.m. 4 p.m. So it is just afternoon where you are. Thank you very much, Lucy, for that. Can I say a big hello to everyone watching in America? Hello to you, not just the United States, but everyone watching in America, North America, South America, East America, West America. Wherever you are in America, that is the continent, of course. Hello there. And can I say hello to Pedro? Are you there, Pedro? Because last week, Pedro wrote to me and he asked, Mr. Duncan, could you please, would it be possible for you to do a very late night live stream so people in America can watch you? So here I am now doing that at 10:15 at night. Happy that your computer is fixed. Well, it isn't fixed. It's still broken. And you might notice that the quality of this stream is not as good as it normally is. So my computer is working, but it won't do the things I want it to do. So unfortunately, I'm having a lot of problems with the computer, and it keeps shutting down, and then the graphics card stops working. So that's the reason why the quality of the live stream you're watching now isn't very good. I'm very sorry about that. Belarusia also likes 1980s music. One of my favourite groups from the 1980s is, can you guess? Can you guess what one of my all-time favourite groups from the 1980s is? Can you guess? I love 1980s. Oh, Is Mimi says, I love 1800s music. Wow, that's a long time ago, over 200 years ago. I'm not sure what the music you listened to sounded like in the 1800s. The 1980s, the music is amazing. Thank you, Amri, for that. I think the washing machine must have ate Mr. Steve's other sock. I think so. I can't find it anywhere. And it always happens every time I wash some clothes. There is always at least one sock missing. It's very annoying. What a surprise. Hello, everybody. Helena Blair. Hello there. Thanks for joining me. Yes, it is a big surprise. It's Mr. Duncan. That's me. And I'm now live on YouTube at just after 10:15 at night. Most of my neighbours have already gone to bed. They're all in bed. Mr. Duncan, thanks to technology, the impossible is now possible. Well, almost. In fact, the way I'm streaming tonight is not the usual way. So this is very different from what I normally do. Mr. Duncan, do you remember me? Arwa Hardy. Yes, I recognise your name. It is now 1:10. Well, in fact, now it will be nearly 1:20 in the morning. So now it is coming up to 1:20 in the morning in Iraq. Hello from Manchester, Silver Gold. Hello, Silver Gold, and a big hello to Manchester. I have been to Manchester many times. I've had many good nights out in Manchester. I like so much. I really do like the British group, the Pet Shop Boys. Yes, well done. They are one of my all-time favourite groups from the 1980s. So well done. That was a very good guess. Thank you, Sergio. And I listened to the Pet Shop Boys. They have helped me with my English. Wow. Patrick is here. Hello, Patrick Kearney. Patrick Kearney. Is that your name? Oh, I've always wondered what Accruitment's real name is. So I think Accruitment, your name is Patrick. Hello, Patrick. Hello from Colombia. Isis Alvarez is here. It's coming up to 20 past midnight in Egypt. Here in the UK, it is now coming up to 20 past 10 at night. Hello to Kurdistan. Hi, Kurdistan. Rabeh Kurdi. Hello to you. Thanks for joining me. Salma Ahmed. Hello to you. Watching also in Egypt. Now, I know that I have a lot of people watching my English lessons in Egypt. Austria is here. I don't get many people from Austria on the live chat. So hello to May. Hello, May. Thanks for joining me. Hi, I'm Oscar from Madrid. Hello to Oscar. Thank you. I'm from Norway. Oh, Long Nguyen or Long Win says, thank you. I'm watching in Norway. Mr. Duncan, what a big surprise. Yes, hello, Pedro. Now, I did read your message. I'm often accused of not reading people's messages, but can you see? Can you see at the moment? See, I am reading your messages right now on the live chat. Can you see that? And Pedro asked if it would be possible if I could come on very late, because lots of people in America, that includes North America and South America, they can't watch my live streams because by the time I end, they are just coming onto the internet. I'm perplexed that you are here now. Well, Pedro, you shouldn't be confused. You have no reason to be perplexed because it's your fault. The reason why I'm here now is because of you. You are so loved here in Egypt. Thank you very much for that. I am following you in Palestine. I am Noor, and I am so pleased to see you. Hello, Noor. I hope I pronounced your name right. I'm also a fan of the 1980s, says May El Grusain. I hope I pronounced your name right. How are you, teacher? Says Al Hussein. Hello, Al Hussein. Where are you watching at the moment? And a big hello to you. The live chat is very busy. I wasn't sure how many people were going to be on watching because I thought maybe you would be too busy, you see. So I thought I would just try to see what's happening. Mr. Duncan, do you like Queen? Yes, I do. I like Queen, the pop group, the music group. Queen, yes. They were very popular during the 1970s and the 1980s. Mr. Duncan, what was the reason to start this tutorial? It is now nearly 11:25 in the Netherlands. The reason why I'm here is I wanted to update you on the progress of my computer repairs because I have had some problems with my computer, some very serious problems. And last Sunday, I had to cancel the live stream, but we did manage to do something on the mobile phone. Yes, it is now coming up to 10:25 here in the UK, 10:25 at night. I'm not joking. All of my neighbours have gone to bed and I'm still here standing in my house talking to myself. Oh, Mr. Duncan, I like Chicago. Oh, yes. Chicago had a lot of big hits in the 1970s and also the 1980s. One of my favourite Chicago songs is "If you leave me now, you take away the biggest part of me." Hello, I'm a Syrian guy. Hello, Syria, and hello to Obayad or Obaida watching in Syria. Hello to you. I really love the Bee Gees. Oh, yes. Now, the Bee Gees were very famous in the 1960s, the 1970s, and the 1980s. So they were around for a very long time. Hello, everyone. I'm Mustafa from Egypt. What about Egypt? Have you visited Egypt? I haven't. I've never been to Egypt, although I did see a very interesting television program last night all about ancient Egypt. We are talking about Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Mr. Duncan, you were my first YouTube teacher 5 years ago. Thank you, Amanda, for that. It's very kind of you. I am now watching you from Morocco, and it is 10:25, says Jory Fly. So that must mean that Morocco is in the same time zone as the UK. Is that right? I love Queen too, says hello Ale. Hello, big teacher. Go ahead. You are the best one. I will try to continue for as long as I can, although at the moment I'm having lots of technical problems because my lovely big computer, the computer that I use to make my videos and to make my live streams, has unfortunately broken down. That's not very good, is it? Hello from Morocco again. Lots of people watching in Morocco and also Egypt. Hello from Sudan. Oh, hello, Sudan. Hashim. Hashim. Hello, Hashim. How are you at the moment? Are you okay? I really, really hope so. Good morning, Mr. Duncan. It is snowing here in Japan. Really? I'm very jealous. We don't have any snow here in the UK, I'm afraid. Good morning, Mr. Duncan. It's snowing here. Thank you for your morning lesson. I love Billy Joel. Oh, yes. Billy Joel had a very big hit in the 1980s with something called Uptown Girl. She's been living in an uptown world. One of my favourite Billy Joel songs is I Love You Just the Way You Are. Hello from Azerbaijan. Thanks very much for a nice lesson. Thank you from also Argentina. Analia. Analia, hello to you. Vietnam is here as well. It must be very late where you are in Vietnam. Hello, Truck Lee Tran, watching in Vietnam. Algeria is here as well. Hello, Zana. Thank you very much, Zana, for joining me. This is a very... Thank you, Fred, for your lovely message there. I would love to read it out, but I'm not going to. Thank you, Fred. Can I just send you... Fred, this is just for you. Mwah! I hope you enjoyed that. Hello, I am a Bee Gees fan. Thank you very much. It is 5:30 a.m. here in Vietnam. 5:30 a.m.? You must be very tired at the moment. Love you just the way you are, yes. Oh, yes, of course. Bruno Mars, who of course picked up some Grammys last week. Bruno Mars is a very good artist. Very modern, very contemporary. But I've noticed nowadays lots of current musicians and singers, they tend to do new versions of old songs. Have you noticed that? Do I have Down syndrome? Wow! How did you know that? Wow, thank you very much. You're very good at spotting these things. Mr. Duncan, could you please tell us what accent you have? My accent is British. I'm from England. I am an Englishman. Some people say that I don't have an accent, but I do have an accent. Mr. Duncan, could you please tell us what accent you have? I like to try and put some effort. And thank you for putting your effort into teaching English. Oh, thank you very much for that. Wow. Hello, Mr. Duncan. I hope... In the Netherlands, it is 11:27. Can you remember any songs by Phil Collins? Yes, I'm very jealous of Phil Collins because he still has more hair than me. One of my favourite Phil Collins songs is I Can Feel It Coming in the Air Tonight. Oh, Lord. Who remembers that one? Mr. Duncan, it's a pleasure to see you. Thank you, Francisco, for that. You are very kind. Can I ask you where you are originally from? Me? I'm originally from England. I'm in England and I'm English. I hope that answers all of your questions. Thanks very much for answering my question, but I was wondering what kind of British accent it is. I don't know, really. I'm not quite sure. Some people say my accent sounds northern. And some people say that it sounds like southern. And some people say that it sounds like the Queen. Do I really sound like the Queen? Or maybe a queen? That's just for you, Fred. I'll see you later. Hold on. To my heart says hello. Hello to you as well. I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh, Lord. Yes, that's the rest of the song by Phil Collins. In the Air Tonight from the 1980s. Your accent is perfect. Oh, thank you very much for that. That's very kind of you. Are you an Englishman in New York? No, I'm not. That, of course, is a song by Sting. I'm an alien, an illegal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. Except for I'm not in New York. I'm somewhere else. Where is your hometown? I live in a lovely little place called Much Wenlock. It's true. Good evening, Mr. Duncan. Have you some sisters or brothers? Do you know any songs by Eric Clapton? Eric Clapton, oh yes. One of his most famous songs, of course, is Layla. Anyway. Genesis. Oh, of course, because before he went solo, Phil Collins used to be with a group called Genesis. Please, can you say my name? Okay, then. Where is it? It's gone. Your name is Om7 Amodi. Is that really a name? It doesn't look like a name to me. Do you like Duran Duran? Ah, yes. The reflex. The reflex. Flex. Hello, Mr. Duncan. I am Sultan and I am originally from Jordan, but now I live in Manchester. Ah, Manchester is a very great place to live. It's very cool, very trendy, very cosmopolitan. I like that word. Hello from Sudan. Mr. Duncan, you are the best teacher of English in the world. Thank you very much for that. That's very kind of you to say. Hello from Algeria. Oh, I think I've actually caught up with the live chat now. So I've got new live chat messages coming up now. Thank you very much. Mr. Duncan, did you ever hear a question you couldn't answer? Well, of course, sometimes I have questions posed to me that I can't answer. I don't know everything. Some people think I know everything, but I don't know everything. In fact, to be honest, no one knows everything. And that's the reason why it's fun to communicate. So if you communicate with each other, if people talk, they learn from each other. So no, I don't know everything. I don't know everything about English. I don't know everything about the planet. But I do know some things and I do know a lot of things. So it depends really what the subject is. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Greetings from Mexico. Hello to Mexico. Thank you very much for joining me. Mr. Duncan, what is your favourite movie? Shrek. That is not an easy question to answer because there are lots of good movies around. I saw a very good movie the other night, a very funny movie. Now, this will give you an idea of the sort of humour that I enjoy. I saw a very funny movie the other night called Freddy Got Fingered. Have you ever seen that film? It's very funny and quite rude, but that's the sort of humour I like. I like funny films. I like films that sometimes are a little funny or strange. Because some people say that I'm funny and strange. Can you believe that? Terrible. Mr. Duncan, can you please pronounce coincidence? Coincidence. What a coincidence. Two things occur at the same time. If they occur at the same time and they seem connected, we can say that it is an coincidence, a coincidence. It is an occurrence that is exceptional. Hello, I'm Amin. Hello, Amin. Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. another very good group. Steve likes Depeche Mode. He's not here at the moment. He's out singing tonight. But yes, Steve really does like Depeche Mode. And also, Steve is a very big fan of Tears for Fears. Shout, shout, let it all out. Mr. Duncan, could you please make a lesson about connected speech? I noticed you saying, I saw a movie. I saw a movie. Yes, sometimes when you're speaking, especially when you talk quickly. Now, sometimes when you speak fast, there are two things that can happen. Sometimes you add an extra sound, and sometimes you will take a sound away. One of the most common being G. So instead of saying singing, they will say singing, singing. Hello, Mr. Duncan. I'm from Turkey. Hello, Turkey. I've been to Turkey twice. I even made a lesson in Turkey. I am from Turkey. I like the colour of your hat. What is your favourite colour? I like all of the colours. I like red, I like yellow, I like green, blue. Sometimes I like purple. It depends what mood I'm in, really. Mr. Duncan, our oral teacher makes a joke, makes a lesson about jokes. She uses your video about types of jokes. Really? So your teacher actually used one of my lessons in your classroom. Thank you very much. Can I say hello to your teacher? And also hello to you as well. Thank you very much. Salah Eddin Ben Maroof. Thank you very much for that. And yes, of course, many teachers do use my lessons in their classroom. It's not unusual. Hello, Mr. Duncan. How is the weather in the UK? Says Vol. Vol Adam. Well, Vol, the weather today has been very windy and incredibly cold. But we haven't had any snow, even though a few weeks ago we had lots of snow. Did you see my live lesson in the snow? Did you see that? Do you have any pets, Mr. Duncan? No, I don't. I don't have any pets at all. Although some people might say that Mr. Steve is a little bit like a pet. We mustn't forget Cyndi Lauper. Thank you, Mika. Cyndi Lauper, of course. Girls, they want to have fun. They do. Do you like football or soccer? I don't follow football. I'm not a fan of football. I don't hate football, but I don't really follow it. Today, I went up into my attic. I was in my attic today. And guess what I found? Can you guess what I found in my attic? Because I had to go upstairs into the attic, and that is the roof space above my house, the roof space. And I found something very interesting. Do you want to see what I found? Okay. I found something very interesting, and it is something, in fact, it is two things that I'd forgotten that I had. Sometimes when you put things away or you put things into storage, it is very easy to forget all about them. And in my hand at the moment, I have something that I forgot all about. I had forgotten all about them. Can you believe it? And the thing or things in question are a pair of trainers, or as they say in America, sneakers. So in America they say sneakers, and here in the UK we say trainers. And look, they are in such good condition. Look at that. I found these today in a box. And they're perfectly new. They are new. They are in very good condition. In fact, you can say that these are pristine. I like that word, pristine. If something is pristine, it means it looks as good as new. So there you can see a pair of trainers, or should I say a pair of sneakers. And they are a pair of sneakers that I put into storage when I moved here 5 years ago. And today I found them. So I must admit I felt quite pleased about that, because I was going to buy a new pair of trainers next month, but now I don't have to. Oh, so that means I can put that money that I would have spent on my new trainers, I can put it towards my new computer. Yes, that is what I'm doing at the moment. I am trying to get a new computer. I was going to upgrade my old one, but apparently there are so many problems with it, it's probably better to get a new one. So, can you guess what I'm doing at the moment? I'm looking for small donations to help get this new computer. I have some news maybe next week, not this week, but I might have some news about my replacement computer next week, but I haven't bought it yet. Can you guess why? Can you guess why I haven't bought it yet? So there it is, my PayPal me /Mr. Duncan if you'd like to make a little donation or a big one. I have had some very generous donations this week. Thank you very much to those who have helped to get my computer fixed, or should I say helped to get my new computer. Yes, I haven't bought it yet. I can't afford it. Where did you use to do live before? Thank you, Franco. Normally, I am here every Sunday on YouTube, live, every Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time. So you can find me on YouTube every Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time. So you will have to check when 2 p.m. in the UK is your time. So you will have to find out what the time difference is. Salah Ben Marouf says, "You are welcome, sir. It is a great honour for us to chat." Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. With a universal teacher like you, we love everything that you do. I wish you a long life. Thank you. I also wish myself a long life. I will try to live as long as possible, but you never know. Where did you used to live before? Well, I've always lived in England because this is where I was born. But for a while, I lived in China for 4 years. In fact, over 4 years, I lived in China. My teacher is the one who recommends you to me as the best English teacher. Oh, thank you, Shruk Bashir. Thank you, that's very kind of you. Amni SD says you have a nice accent. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Of course, I've been teaching English for many years now. In fact, for over, can you believe it, almost 15 years. 15 years. And I've been here on YouTube teaching English for over 11 years. It's true. I'm not joking. Hello, Mr. Duncan from Rome in Italy. A big hello to you watching in Italy. Lossa. Hello, Lossa. Do you remember me? Yes, I remember your name. I recognise the name Lossa. definitely. Where's Mr. Duncan? Says Celio. Where is he? I'm here. I'm here right now talking to you. I hope. How do I practice my spoken English? There are many ways to practice English. You can listen to other people speaking English, and there are many ways to do that. You can listen to movies. You can also listen to music. A lot of people think that listening to music, listening to songs that are sung in English can help with their English learning. Thank you, great teacher. Thank you, May El Juhassain. Thank you very much. You are welcome. Thank you very much for that. Yes, I've been looking for a new computer. Now I've decided to buy a new computer because my old computer is, well, let's just say most of the parts inside are now obsolete. I like that word, obsolete. If something is obsolete, it means it no longer exists as a new thing. So it means that that particular thing is no longer being made or produced. Something is obsolete. Obsolete. Phrasal verbs are verbs that are used to describe the action of doing something without directly saying it. What is the best way to learn English? Oh my goodness. I could stand here for another 10 hours explaining that. The best way to learn English is to immerse yourself in it. Whenever you can, wherever you can. That's the best advice I can give you in this short time. So try to immerse yourself. Try to make English a part of your life. That includes reading English, listening to English, and of course the hardest part, speaking English. And that's the hardest part for most people learning English as a second language. They often find it very difficult to speak because they lack the confidence to do it. Please tell me the difference between sensible and sensitive. Well, they are completely different words. Sensible means a person who does something in the proper way, a sensible person. We might also say that they are level-headed, they are sane, they are sensible. They always do things the right way or the logical way. Sensitive means that you react to things very easily. So if you are very sensitive, it means you react to things very easily. You are very sensitive. Mr. Duncan, I'm a big fan for you. We normally say I'm a big fan of you. So if you are a fan, if you enjoy one particular thing, you can say that you are a fan of it. A fan of football. A fan of music from the 1980s. Or maybe you are a fan of Mr. Duncan. Oh, dear. Phrasal verbs are hard, but as you improve your English, you will find that you will catch a lot of the phrasal verbs and also idioms as well. These are things that you gather as you learn English. So you can't learn everything at once. And this is a very important thing to remember. A lot of people try to remember too many things at once. You can't learn everything in one go. It's impossible. It takes time. I've been asked, where is Mr. Lomax? Where is your monkey? Who knows? Mr. Lomax, my cheeky monkey, might be making an appearance in one of my lessons soon. Did you see the lunar eclipse yesterday? No, because we didn't have it here, unfortunately. it was only visible in the southern hemisphere. So sadly, we didn't see it here. Although we did have one a couple of years ago. We did have a red moon or a blue moon, or should I say a blood moon. But no, I didn't see the eclipse because we didn't have it here, unfortunately. We are too far north. Mr. Duncan, do we say kitchen scale or kitchen scales? It is the second. The second. Kitchen scales. So if you have kitchen scales, that's how we describe it. It is a set of scales. Sir, I am learning English from you and I like your teaching. Thank you to Assad, who is watching in Pakistan. Hello to you. What does the word lie mean? Well, lie has many meanings. Lie can mean to be flat. So maybe you lie down or you lie on the ground. Also, lie can mean to tell an untruth. To lie. You say something that is not true. You lie. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Sadly, the lunar eclipse was seen in Australia, Asia and North America. Unfortunately, we couldn't see it here in the UK. For two reasons. One, it wasn't visible. And two, it was also very cloudy yesterday. So there were lots of clouds. So even if we could see it, we wouldn't be able to actually observe it because it was very cloudy yesterday. Mr. Duncan, I don't notice any difference between TH and F pronunciation. Yes, sometimes, certainly with words like this and that and those. Mr. Duncan, could you tell us some advice on improving listening? Well, of course, listening is something that you can't do straight away. It takes time. So listening, learning to listen is something you have to do over time. It's very similar to the way I learnt English when I was a child. So English is my first language. But of course, when I was a child, when I was very young, in the school that I attended, they used to get us to listen to English being spoken. So that's what we did. We had to listen to English being spoken. We had to listen to the way it was used and also the pronunciation of words. So even I learned English by listening to English, by learning to read English, and of course, as I said earlier, the hardest part of all is speaking English. A lot of people have trouble with that. Mr. Duncan, can I learn English in 45 days? No, you can't. If anyone tells you that you can, they are lying. You can't learn the whole English language. You can't learn all of the clauses and the rules in just a month and a half. It's impossible. Trust me. Mr. Duncan, are you speaking slowly to be clear and so we understand you? No, this is how I normally talk. A lot of people think that this is not my normal voice, but it is. This is how I talk normally. Hello, I'm Mr. Duncan. How are you? Some people think that I come from London. Hello, my name's Mr. Duncan, and I come from London. But I don't. I don't come from London. Not at all. So, I think I'm going to go in a minute because I've been here for nearly 1 hour. I can't believe it. I've been here for almost an hour. So, thank you very much for joining me. Just before I go, can I just remind you that my computer has unfortunately broken. I am actually using the computer at the moment, but I can only use it for a short time. And if I use it too long, then the graphics card stops working and my computer shuts down and everything goes dark. So that's why the quality of today's picture is not as good as it normally is. Because if I did this in high definition, if I used any other setting for the resolution, then my computer would break. It would stop working. So at the moment I'm trying to save for a new computer, something that will allow me to edit videos and also live stream and do lots of other special things as well. And of course, as you may have guessed, that type of computer is very, very expensive. And that's the reason why some lovely people have made donations to help me get my new computer, because it's quite expensive. Now, I have put some money towards it as well. And Mr. Steve also is going to put a small amount of money towards the computer also. So we are all chipping in. I like that expression, chipping in. If you chip in, it means you give something towards something else. So you chip in, you offer a small amount of money. You offer to pay for part of something. You chip in, chip in. I think we mainly use that in British English. So, the PayPal address, just before I go, there it is, paypal.me/Mr. Duncan. That's the address if you'd like to send a small donation or a large donation. I had some lovely donations from Tatiana, Elspeth, Yude, Tetsuya, and also Anna. I had some lovely donations from some of my lovely viewers. And of course, don't forget, can I say a special hello to my Patreon supporters as well. Thank you also for your help. So hopefully next week I will have some news about my new computer. We will wait and see what happens. But at the moment I'm not sure. Good news. There is some good news. I will be here on Sunday. So this Sunday I will be here from 2 p.m. UK time. So this Sunday, which is the 4th of February, I will be here. And then the week after, I will also be here on the 11th. I think it's the 11th. Yes, the 11th of February. But the following week, I will not be here. So on the 18th of February, I will not be here on YouTube. So remember that. There will only be 3 big live streams. And on the 18th of February, I will not be live, okay? But I will be here this Sunday. I hope I explained that well. So I have some work to do now before I go to bed. It's now coming up to 11 o'clock at night. Can you believe it? It's 1 hour away from midnight and I'm still here talking to you. Now I have to try and find the other sock. Where is the other sock? This is one of Mr. Steve's socks that I washed today, but I can't find the other one. Where has it gone? Do you have it? Could you have a look around now? Could you have a little look around your room? Can you see any spare sock sitting? Maybe on the floor or by the bed? Or maybe hanging over the door? Is there one? No? I was hoping that Mr. Steve would come back, but it looks like Mr. Steve has gone for a drink at the pub. Yes. But don't worry, for all those who are worried that Mr. Steve will be drinking and driving, don't worry. He doesn't drink alcohol, so he always has a nice soft drink. He doesn't have alcohol. So Mr. Steve doesn't drink and drive before anyone tells me off. Let's have one last look at the live chat before I go. Here it is midnight. Oh, Lossa says it's midnight. Good night and sweet dreams from Lossa. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I have been following your lessons since 2007. And that comes from Alfonso. Hello, Alfonso. Thanks for following me for over 10 years. Wow, thank you so much. Good night, everybody. It is late. And have a nice evening. Thank you, Just Variation. That is the name of the person who sent that message. Yes, I think it's very late in some countries. If you are watching in Japan or Vietnam or maybe China, it is now early in the morning. Whilst here in England, it is late at night. In fact, we are now 58 minutes away from midnight here in the UK. Just to prove it, for those who don't believe me, because some people don't think I'm live, but there it is, you see, just to prove that I am actually live at the moment. There it is. I'm definitely live. Almost an hour has passed. The time goes so quickly when we are watching you. Thank you, Belarusia. Salim Salim. Hello, Salim Salim. Apparently, alcohol is not good for your health. And I agree, it isn't. Especially too much of it. Thank you very much, Mr. Duncan. The time went by so fast. It slid by. Slid. Thank you, Bayram, for that. Have a good night, Mr. Duncan. Many hugs from Colombia. Thank you very much. And don't forget, I'm doing this tonight, especially for all those who are watching in America, North America, South America, maybe Australia, maybe also the Middle East as well. Some people watching in the Middle East. So I have people watching all over the world. It's 4 a.m. It's 4 a.m. in Pakistan. That's so late. You should be asleep now. Can I apologise for keeping you awake? I hope you're not staying awake because of me. I'll feel very guilty about that. Marcelo is here. Oh, Marcelo, hello. I haven't seen you for a long time. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Nice to see you. Could you... Hashim says, could you tell us what lay means? Lay is to place something flat on a surface. So you lay something. You lay. So if you lay something, it means you put something flat. You put something down, normally covering a surface. Lay. You are the best, Mr. Duncan. Thank you. And please say princess. Princess. Oh, thank you very much to Zana Amir. And I have to say princess as well. Hello, princess. Is that someone you know? Do you actually know a princess? Or do you just want me to say the word princess? Sweet dreams, Mr. Duncan. See you on Sunday. Yes, I will be here on Sunday. It might not be the normal live stream because I am having lots of problems with my computer. Hopefully next week I will be able to afford to buy a brand new studio computer. But of course they are very expensive. Very, very expensive. I follow you from Egypt. Thank you, Mohammed Galab. Thank you very much. And as I mentioned earlier, I watched a very interesting program on television last night all about ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt, the culture in ancient Egypt. It lasted for a long time. Over 3,000 years. That's incredible. Mr. Duncan, let me tell you something. I can understand everything. And I remember when I started to watch your videos with Mr. Lomax. And now, Mr. Duncan, Spain and UK can be so bad. I don't know what that means. I don't quite understand that. Wilson Alonso. Oh, I've arrived late. Adrian Guel. Oh, hello, Adrian. Yes, you are a little bit late, but don't worry, because you can watch this live stream again later on. Yes, it's true. So don't worry, Adrian. I will be going in a few moments, although I always say that. In Turkey, it's 6 minutes past 2 o'clock in the morning. I think this is the most enjoyable hour of this day. Really? Do you mean watching me? Do you mean that your day is even better now because of watching me? Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Suhandan. Suhandan, thank you very much for your lovely greeting there, all the way from Turkey. I've been to Turkey twice. Yes, it's true. And I made an English lesson in Turkey. Leila Saida, which means good night. Oh, Leila Saida. Leila Saida, which is good night in Arabic. Oh, I'm learning some Arabic now. Very nice. Oh, I see. Yes, I think Wilson is talking about Brexit. Wow. Let's just say that Brexit is a very hot topic. Everyone is talking about Brexit. Some people like it and some people don't like it. They don't want to leave Europe. It is now midnight in France. It is now gone midnight. It's after midnight. So a big bonjour to France. And already in France, it is tomorrow. Khaled, hello Khaled or Khaled, watching in Syria. A big hello to Syria. I do have a lot of people watching in that part of the world. I have a lot of people watching in Syria and also Iraq and also Afghanistan as well. So lots of people in that part of the world watching. Foreigners pronounce please. Foreigner pronounce please and have a good night. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Rosa. Foreigner, pronounce please and have a good night. It is 6 o'clock in the evening in Colombia. It's supper time or tea time. So have you had your evening meal yet? And that comes from Tatan. Tatan. That almost sounds like Tatar. Marek says, regards from Poland. Your lessons are great. Thank you very much for that. I have now been on for 1 hour and 10 minutes. We had a very rude man on the live chat earlier. Did you see him? He was on. And I think he was trying to annoy me. Oh dear. Now, can I just say, I've been on YouTube for nearly 12 years, 11 years, and now I'm in my 12th year. And it's very hard for me to get upset by what people say on YouTube. It's very hard for me to get upset. I used to see you when I was in Argentina, but right now I am in New York. New York, New York, so good they named it twice. New York, New York, all the scandal and the vice. So a big hello to Marcella Kwan or Chuan, watching in America, the United States, no less. Hello, Mr. Duncan, says Tiger. Tiger Ogien or Tiger Ogien. Hello to Tiger. Also, there are many people from North Africa who follow you, such as Algeria and Egypt. Yes, I know I have a lot of people in North Africa and also Morocco as well. Yes, lots of people watching in those parts of the world as well. I'm glad to see you, Mr. Duncan, but it's now 3:10. Well, in fact, it's now after 3:10. You are such a nice guy spending your time with your friends. Yes, of course, you are my friends. I always think of you as my family, my big worldwide family. And I always like to come onto the internet to say hello to you and to let you know that I am thinking about you. Good night. In Kurdish, we say Shavbash. Shavbash. I hope I pronounced that right. If not, I apologize. Now, someone has written something here. Buona notte e sogni d'oro, which I think means good night and have golden dreams. Buona notte el sogni d'oro. D'oro. That was terrible. But at least I tried, just like you should. Please, Mr. Duncan, advise me on how to make children not forget English words. One of the best ways to get children to remember words is to repeat them and get them to repeat them. And one of the good things about teaching children is their brains are very absorbent. They are very good at remembering things. So if you are teaching very young children, it is very easy to do if you know how to do it. So getting children to listen and repeat, and also testing them. So you might teach them some new words, and then maybe half an hour later you will ask them to remember the words. And every time you get them to remember, that information stays in their head. It's true. I've done it. Greetings from Italy, Cesar. Hello, Cesar. Thanks for joining me. Hello, Mr. Duncan. How can I pronounce this sentence? I wear my clothes right now. I wear my clothes right now. I think actually, grammatically, it should be I'm wearing my clothes right now. I'm wearing my clothes right now, because you are doing it. You are doing it now. You are wearing your clothes. Greetings from Italy. Thank you very much. And also, oh, I'm very sorry I'm late, says Marcella. You are quite late. I've been here now for 1 hour and 15 minutes talking. But Mr. Steve is out tonight. He has gone to rehearse for a show that he's in. He's in a show coming up very soon. And I was hoping that he would come back. But he hasn't. He hasn't come back yet. He hasn't arrived. Oh, wait there a moment. I think I can hear Mr. Steve's car. So I think Mr. Steve might be arriving right now. I think he's just arrived. So let's see. Let's hang on for a few more moments and we might get to see Mr. Steve. So let's find out, shall we? Hello from Derby. When you say Derby, do you mean Derby in the UK? Wow. So hello to Milat Zadar, who is watching in Derby. Of course, Derbyshire is a very beautiful part of the world. I love Derby so much, and also the surrounding area. In fact, I have made a lesson in Derbyshire. In one of my lessons, I did a lot of filming in Derbyshire, and some of the beautiful scenery, especially around a place called the Peak District. Very beautiful. Milat says, yes, it's in England. Wow, you're so lucky, because Derbyshire is a very beautiful part of the country. Oi, oyasumi. 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 Which means good night in Japanese. Mr. Steve is back. Hello. Guess what I'm doing?
Are you live streaming?
Mr. Steve is back. Everyone's been waiting for the last hour for Mr. Steve to get back. Everyone's been saying, where's Mr. Steve? We all want to see Mr. Steve. Guess what, everyone? Mr. Steve has just got back. Here he comes. Here comes Mr. Steve. Oh, come on. He's playing hard to get. He's teasing. Here he comes. Mr. Steve is here.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't even let me get my shoes off.
Wow, look at that. Mr. Steve, is it cold outside?
Oh, it's freezing. Yes, it's about 4.5 degrees according to my car.
4 degrees. That's very cold.
Yes, it's a little on the cold side. I must admit, I was dragged for a sneaky little drink.
Yes, I said that, didn't I? I said I bet Mr. Steve has gone for a drink. Now, everyone was worried because they thought maybe you would be having lots of alcohol and then driving the car.
I only had one little half a pint of beer.
So just a small beer.
Yeah, so didn't really want to go for a drink tonight, but I was persuaded because the conductor who had worked very hard on the piano all night, playing our bits of music, always likes to go for a drink afterwards, and there weren't that many of us there tonight, so it was sort of you almost had to go to buy him a drink because he'd worked so hard on the piano. So I got dragged along and a bit of conversation. I was thinking all the time, Mr. Duncan's live.
Yes.
I need to get back.
I did tell Steve earlier that I might do a live stream to update you on the computer situation.
Yes.
But I think Mr. Steve got a little bit sidetracked. Someone twisted his arm.
Well, I didn't really want to go. Neither of us went. In the end, only 3 of us went.
Oh, I see.
To the pub for a drink.
That sounds a bit sad. So there was just you. Who else?
Me, Mike, and Terry, who was the pianist, and just the 3 of us went. And yes, we had. Well, they had 2 drinks. I only had 1.
So a pianist is a person who plays a piano, but also he is the conductor.
That's right. But tonight he was just playing the accompaniment to the various bits of music that we were all singing. There were probably about half a dozen of us there, all doing our various solos and trios and quartets and things like that.
And I mentioned earlier that Steve is in a show. Do you want to tell us about the show that you're in?
Oh, well, yes, it's not a full stage production. It is just a concert version, which means that instead of having sets and costumes, we will just be
sets,
S-E-T-S, i.e. all the backdrops. We are just going to, this is a fundraising concert, and so we are just going through the music and doing a little bit of dialogue in between, but not very much. So the choir will just be sitting down, and then if anyone has to do a solo or a mixed group, we will just stand up and then sing that particular part and go and sit down again.
So a person who does a solo, they will sing on their own, which is something I would never like to do. I couldn't do that.
You've done that in China, Mr. Duncan.
I know.
Ah, don't be so modest.
I hated it. I hated singing on TV. I was persuaded when I was in China to sing on Chinese television. I had to learn a Chinese song and sing it on the television.
Is that on your YouTube channel?
It is. You can see me singing on Chinese TV on my YouTube channel. It's true.
Worth a look. It's actually quite good. I was quite impressed.
Mohammed Gomar says, Mr. Duncan, how can I make my English... I don't know what that means. Sorry, Mr. Duncan, I have to talk with you more, but I have an exam tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Oh, good luck with your exam, MHD.
Get a good night's sleep.
You need plenty of sleep before an exam, or else your brain will not work very well. Sometimes, now this is something very strange. Sometimes, even if I have a very good night's sleep, sometimes I feel very tired the next day. But sometimes if I don't have a good night's sleep, I feel better the next day. It's very strange that. We've got lots of people saying hello.
I think you need a strong cup of coffee before your exam tomorrow.
Yes, maybe take a very big cup of coffee into the exam with you so you stay awake.
That's right.
And if you fail the exam, don't blame me. I don't want anyone blaming me for the problems they have, for staying up late watching me.
We must be utterly unentertaining.
Well,
otherwise we're going to keep people up who are taking their exams tomorrow.
I think I've done a very good job of that.
How long have you been on, Mr. Duncan?
I've now been on for 1 hour 20 minutes.
1 hour 20 minutes?
1 hour 20 minutes. Mr. Duncan, the GN sound is like the Spanish N with the tilde above. I don't know what that means. I think there might be some spelling mistakes. I don't know what tilde is. Mr. Duncan, I'm from Spain. I love you. I have seen only one video of you. Very wonderful. You've only seen one video. There are over 500 videos on my YouTube channel. Over 500.
That's probably, if you watched one a day.
Go on.
That's over a year.
Yes.
Of watching Mr. Duncan's videos.
I wasn't sure what Steve was going to do then. I thought it was going to be very accurate and clever and
about a year and a half, I would say.
About a year and a half.
A year and a half, one a day.
If you watched one of my videos every day, it would take you 1.5 years to watch them all.
Perhaps someone can do the maths. 500 divided by 365.
I know 2 people who can't do the maths.
Well, that's quite a difficult calculation in your head.
Okay then. May I say something? What is the best way for improving the writing of paragraphs? Well, of course, it depends what type of writing you are doing. If you are doing formal writing, you might have lots of paragraphs. If you are telling a story or writing a story, quite often you have longer paragraphs or larger paragraphs. So it really depends on what it is you are trying to say.
I think with a paragraph, you're ending a section, aren't you?
Yes, you wrap it up. So if you're telling a story, certainly in a book, a novel, for instance, you'll find that the paragraphs are much larger. So you don't normally have small paragraphs or short paragraphs when you are telling a story in writing.
So if you're writing a letter, for example, if you're talking about one particular subject, that would be a paragraph. And then when you finish that, when it comes to a natural end and you want to start talking about something different, then you start a new paragraph. Would I be right there? I think
yes, that's it. It's a way of ending a section so you know that part has come to an end.
Yes.
But if you're writing a letter, the rules are slightly different. Oh, look!
It's almost like talking.
Look what we've got here.
Paragraphs, you can fit them into talking.
I'm trying to end that paragraph.
Okay.
Oh, look! Amni says, "This is my first time to see Mr. Steve. Hi, Mr. Steve. Amni."
Hello, Amni. Hello, Amni. Welcome.
Mr. Steve has been out all night.
This is interesting. I've never seen this before. Mr. Duncan is filming and I can see myself he's using his mobile phone as a monitor. That's a first. I've never seen Mr. Duncan. Mr. Duncan's really upped the ante tonight in terms of the technical way that you're producing this live stream.
Faster.
You're upped the ante.
Up the ante.
And you've go on, explain that, Mr. Duncan.
Oh, I didn't use it.
You're the English teacher.
I like the way Steve uses words and then leaves it to me to explain what it means. If you up the ante, it means you raise the stakes, or you make things more
better.
Better.
Improvements.
You make them better, you make them more elaborate, you improve something, You
Yes.
go from one level to another, normally with some sort of improvement. So you
Yes.
up the ante. Mr. Mika. Mika's still here in Japan. You must be really tired.
Time is it in Japan?
It must be nearly. It must
Japan.
It must be about 6:30 in the morning in Japan.
I've just been singing with the Mikado,
I saw
the
your
Emperor of Japan, according to that the musical that I'm doing, the Mikado.
the Mikado. I don't think people in Japan are going to like the Mikado because it's
I think it's quite favourable.
Really?
Yes, it's not. I don't think it's derogatory.
Is it one of the characters? One of the characters in the Mikado is called Titty Poo.
Titty Poo, yes, and Pooh Bar.
Pooh Bar. These don't sound like real Japanese names.
I don't think they are.
No, I don't think they are.
Just bear in mind, it was written in 1875, I believe, or 1885. So political correctness wasn't at the forefront of people's minds. But if you look at it now, it's actually not too bad.
No, that might explain the reason why not many people see the Mikado being performed now. Maybe some people think.
Oh no, it's still quite popular. No, it's a very popular one.
You know, a little race.
No, it's not racist at all.
Racist.
No,
Racist.
not at all.
It's not racist, okay?
No, it's just fun. Musical comedy, it's just fun.
That's good. I have an exam next weekend, says Suhandan.
Oh, yes.
If I pass the exam, I will be the pre-intermediate class. I will be in the pre-intermediate class.
Is that for English?
Yes, definitely. So I'm studying now whilst I'm watching you. Please wish me luck. So, Suhandan, I will keep my fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, not both. If you do both, it's a bad luck.
Is it?
You just
Never
one.
heard of that one before.
That's what my mum used to say anyway. She said if you cross both fingers, it's bad luck, but maybe not.
Didn't know
So
that.
I will keep my fingers crossed.
I'm crossing my toes as well.
I'm crossing
And
my
my
legs.
Crossing my legs. I'm crossing my legs because I've been out for a drink, I need to go to the toilet.
Mr. Steve needs a wee wee.
I do.
That's nice.
But I won't do it right now.
Hello?
Why have you got a piece of blue tack
That was
on the wall?
That was earlier. So I could get the center of the camera right, you see. So when I was setting the camera up, I had to have a center point because there's nothing here to focus on, you see. So I needed that to focus the camera. So I knew that was the center of the screen.
Right.
I bet you're really pleased I told you that.
He's clever, Mr. Duncan. There's no flies on him.
Are you passing all the night making this live lesson, Mr. Duncan? No. Well, it's now half an hour away from midnight. I don't know why I feel so lively tonight. I've been listening to lots of great music, lots of music from the 1980s, which is where I started this live stream talking all about...
You see, I've got to go to bed because I've got to work in the morning. Mr. Duncan can do what he likes because he doesn't have to actually go to a place of work, whereas I do.
Well, that makes it sound like I've got nothing to do tomorrow. I've got so many things to do. I was busy today. I was cleaning his clothes. I was washing them. I was in the attic. I was in the attic because I had to find. No, it's true. These are stories that I've already told. This is what happened today. I had to go up in the loft, up in the attic, to find some parts for the computer.
You did make some eggs today. That was quite nice at lunchtime.
I made some eggs for Mr. Steve because Mr. Steve was at home today.
I was working from home.
He was at home working.
Working from home, as opposed to working in an office. I was working from home.
As I always say, Mr. Steve, are you working hard or hardly working?
Well, I was working quite hard today. I had a teleconference this morning.
Apparently, CEO of YouTube. Hello, CEO of YouTube. I think you're a 12-year-old child, but...
You mean CEO, the Chief Executive Officer?
Yes. Oh, my...
Of YouTube.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, the room is shaking, look. The room is shaking.
Don't be sarcastic, Mr. Duncan. What if it really is the CEO of YouTube?
No, I can see the icon for their YouTube channel, and it's some 12-year-old kid.
But it might be a fake.
I've hacked
icon.
your
If
account.
you are the CEO of YouTube, hello, please
isn't.
help Mr. Duncan.
It's
become world famous.
It's some snotty-nosed kid.
Well, he might be very nice.
No, well, he's saying he's hacked my account and now he's going to steal all my videos. So I don't think he's going to do that.
Can he do that?
No,
Okay.
he's talking out of his hat. What upgrades? What upgrades will you make? Well, the upgrades are not being upgraded now. I've decided to actually get a new computer, a completely new computer. Now, more news about that next week because I haven't bought it yet because I have to get some more money together because it's very expensive. Very, very
He'll be working the streets for the next few months.
Is Mr. Steve family? Yes, he's my long-lost cousin from...
Family, yes, that's one way of putting it.
Yes, Mr. Steve is family. Yes,
I am family.
Definitely family. So now you have to buy a new PC. Yes, because my old computer it doesn't work very well. If I live stream on there in high definition with more than one camera, or try to play any videos on the live stream, the graphics card stops working and the computer stops working. So all of the things inside the computer are very old, like me.
But a lot of people have been helping you, haven't they? A lot of people have been helping you. I'll say that again a bit clearer than I did the first time.
Okay.
So hopefully soon you'll be able to purchase that new computer.
Yes. Well, hopefully next week, next Wednesday, I'm hoping to have some good news. But
I might have a monitor by the side of me, and I'll finally be able to see what Mr. Duncan's doing.
There it is. You see, there's
this?
PayPal me, Mr. Duncan, if you'd like to make a small donation to get this new computer, so I can go back into my studio and do everything normally. I have to get a new computer. Mr. Steve is giving me some help as well. He's making a donation. I'm donating as well. Everyone is donating. I might actually go around to my neighbours' houses and knock on the door and say, hello, I'm your neighbour. Could you please give me some money so I can buy a new computer?
Maybe not use that voice with the neighbours. They might it might scare them away.
That's my normal voice.
That's your put-on voice, Mr. Duncan. A put-on voice.
Not Miroslaw is asking, what is the specification of your new computer? Well,
He's been looking, I'll tell you. He spent the last 2 days...
What was that?
On his computer, looking at all the specifications of all these different computers. He hasn't done any work this week. He's just been looking at computers.
I love the word specifications.
Specification.
So the things the measurements and the types of things that you are going to use for something. So I need a new computer, and the computer has to do a certain type of job. So the things inside the computer have to work in a certain way. And we need to find out what the specifications are.
Yes. What Mr. Duncan needs for a successful and trouble-free live stream where he can plug lots of monitors in, lots of cameras.
Yeah, lots of monitors so we can see ourselves, lots of cameras so I can show you what's happening with Mr. Steve, myself, and also outside. I want to do lots and lots of vivid, lots of very exciting live streams.
Something I'm a bit concerned about is that when Mr. Duncan gets his new computer, he'll be able to stream in high definition.
High definition and all the time.
Which means that we're going to need makeup and proper lights, otherwise all the wrinkles will be showing.
Actually, I've just realised I haven't had a shave today, and I look
You look a bit rough, Mr. Duncan.
I look very rough.
Whereas I have, presented myself in the best possible way.
But he's been going out, gallivanting.
That's it. This is the look of a man who's been sat in front of his computer for the last 2 days, just looking at computers and what he can buy.
I wondered what he was going to say.
That is the look of a man who's just been sitting in front of a computer for the last 2 days.
You know what I thought you were going to say then? I thought you were going to say something else then. That I've been looking at something else. But it's not true.
He hasn't even washed for 2 days.
Now he's just being very sarcastic.
What computer shall I get? He's been printing them all out.
Calm
and
down,
showing
Steve.
me.
I'm
calm.
You know what I think? I think Steve's drunk.
I'm not drunk. Well, I can't be drunk because I wouldn't drive back if I was, I wouldn't take that kind of a risk. I only had half a little pint of very weak beer.
Yes, very weak. But the thing is, Mr. Steve doesn't drink very often. And I think even if he has a little bit of alcohol, I think it goes straight to his head. So
I was absolutely, completely safe driving back. And there was no problem at all, Mr. Duncan. I love you, Mr. Duncan. You're the best English teacher I've ever seen.
Now, Steve's either drunk or having a stroke.
I'm perfectly all right. I'm acting.
You're acting. You certainly are acting.
Oh.
Do we still have anybody watching? Is anyone still there?
Does it tell us how many are watching?
I don't know. I don't think
any tells you.
I think maybe that kid has hacked in. Maybe he has hacked in and disconnected me from the world.
Well, he won't find a lot, even if he does hack in.
I won't be streaming in 4K. I won't do that because you will be able to see every wrinkle and every mark.
Imagine this on 4K.
Imagine this in 4K, not on 4K. In
4K.
God, I'm having to teach him now what to say.
I don't know the jargon.
4K. No way.
What's this here, Mr. Duncan?
I will be I will be streaming in 1080 or 720, but the picture quality will be much better.
We're going to need a makeup artist.
You guys are so amazing. It's awesome to see you. Great job. Thank you, Dimius. I hope I pronounced your name right. I'm going in a moment because I've been here for 1 hour and 40 minutes. Mr. Steve, he's going to get ready now to go to bed because he's very, very tired and maybe a little bit drunk.
I'm not drunk, for the record.
Drunk for the record?
I wouldn't drink drive. You know that, Mr. Duncan. It's far too dangerous. And I don't want to lose my licence because my job depends on it.
That's it. You don't want to lose your licence.
So I've only had half a pint.
Half a pint?
And that was an hour ago.
Half a pint?
So I'm now completely sober.
And just to make sure that Mr. Steve drives safely, he always drives along the pavement as well.
I put a spike on my steering wheel. A big metal spike.
Yeah.
Because then you drive very carefully. Have you heard of that, Mr. Duncan? You put a big metal spike on your steering wheel in the middle, and then that encourages you to drive safely. Because obviously, if you have an accident, the spike will go straight in your head.
Yeah. Okay. I've never heard of that.
Yep, it's a gnome thing.
No, it isn't. I think he's making it up. So hopefully we'll have some news on the computer. New computer, if you wish to make a donation, there it is again. I know I keep showing this. I'm sure some people must be very sick of seeing this, but this will be the last time you see it.
Imagine what we'll be able to do with a new computer.
Before Sunday, it will completely change the way I do everything. So we can get rid of the old broken computer because it's useless. I've had it for 8 years. So it's not a new computer. I've had it for many years, and that's the reason why I need to get a new one.
And that's very hot.
That's what I'm doing. Yes, it gets very hot. It heats up.
You've had some wonderful people donating, though, haven't you?
We have.
Mentioned them tonight.
I've already named them tonight. Yes, there they are. There we go. You see, Tatiana, Elspeth, Ute, Tetsuya, and also Anna as well. Look. So lots of lovely people have made donations. Thank you very much. And I'm very, very
humbled, I would say.
I'm very moved. I had tears in my eyes the other night when I was looking at some of the offers and some of the kind donations. So I'm very, very moved, very
humbled by the response.
Yes, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I don't think Mr. Steve is drunk. He looks like a very sensible guy.
Thank you.
I'm not sure about that. Anyway, shall we go now because you want to go to bed?
That would be a good idea.
Okay,
I've got
then.
to work, but I'm working. Actually, I'm working from home. I tell a lie. I'm working from home tomorrow, so I don't have to drive. So actually, I'm not too bad. But I guess you want to go
Me?
because I could stay for another hour.
Really? But you were complaining. I don't understand. He was complaining just about wanting to go to bed, and now he says he wants to stay here.
Once I'm on,
I'm getting very
it's
confused.
exciting, and I want to do more.
I'm getting very mixed messages from Mr. Steve. So for those wondering, I am back on Sunday. This Sunday, it is the 4th of February. Yes, it's February, everyone.
I've still got my coat on. I've
Pinch.
just realised.
Pinch, punch, pinch, punch.
What was that for?
Pinch, punch. That's what you do, you see, on the 1st of every month. So when the first day of the new month arrives, you go pinch, punch.
I've never heard of that.
Yes, it's true.
Ever.
Everyone does it.
You call this my future coat, don't you?
This is Steve's
This is my future coat.
This is Steve's coat. It makes him look like he's from the future.
Like a robot.
He looks like Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner.
Shall I turn round?
Here's Mr. Steve doing his impression of one of the replicants from Blade
I'm
Runner.
a robot.
From Blade Runner, because Steve keeps talking over me while I'm trying to explain. Oh, that's rubbish. Come this way.
There we go. Watch Blade Runner, you'll see what I mean.
I'm sure you must be
I've got a bit dizzy.
Yes, me too. I'm sure you must be really glad to have stayed awake all night just to see Mr. Steve doing his impression of Rutger Hauer from Blade Runner.
I can't tell you how far into the film. They're just about halfway through. They're showing the replicants, aren't they?
Yes, all right.
And they're being filmed.
Yes, we get it. I think we get it now.
I'm getting very hot. You've still got the heating on full.
Oh, dear.
What?
It never stops.
You want me to be lively?
This isn't lively. This is...
You say to me, Mr. Duncan complains to me after the show. He says you weren't very lively today, and then
This
when I am
isn't-
lively, he complains.
This isn't lively. This is disorder.
It's fine. Oh, that's better. He's got the heating turned up for. He always does that as well. He's racking up the heating.
Okay,
bills.
then. I'm not turning the heat up. The heat is actually off. It's been off for the last 3
I'm
hours.
going to test the radiator.
So, yeah.
Oh, actually, he's right.
Yes.
It is hot. Mind
It's
you,
just-
it's the pressure, the stress of being live.
It's just you, all that alcohol in your blood.
Not any alcohol at all. That's tomorrow night because we're going out for a curry, aren't we? Tomorrow night.
There are
With
so
some
many.
friends.
There are so many people at the moment talking on here, and we're just ignoring them. I'm very sorry about that. Steve's come home
Ignoring?
very late. He's drunk, and now you can see what I have to put up with.
Drunk. I'm going to beat him up later.
Yes, that normally follows.
I'm joking. You've never seen any bruises on Mr. Duncan.
No,
'Cause-
he
you
makes
see.
sure you can't see them.
Yes, I know where to hit him where the bruises don't show.
Oh, great.
Well, that's what the prison wardens do.
Well, thank you, everybody. This is the part where we trivialise domestic violence.
We're joking. Well, do you remember that show called
Don't hit me.
Prisoner Cell Block H?
No, nobody remembers it.
Well, anyway, but yes, but if someone's going to beat you up in prison, don't know how we got onto this subject.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Experts know where to hit you so the bruises don't show. I don't know why we got onto that, but anyway,
We
you
didn't.
talked about domestic violence,
Yeah, I was trying not.
accusing me of being drunk.
I was
coming home
trying
drunk.
not to talk about it.
Have you been showing some DVDs earlier? Greatest hits.
No, they're not.
1980s.
They're not DVDs. They're CDs.
CDs.
So this is the problem. Steve still listens to those old plastic records. He's got one of those wind-up gramophones. You sort of wind the big handle on the side, and there's a big trumpet. And Mr. Steve has to put his head right next to it.
I think you're the one who's drunk. I don't know about anything else.
I'm always drunk. I'm drunk on life.
No, later. There's no one there. I'm only joking. I left the door open and a tramp's wandered in.
A tramp?
Yes, a vagrant, a tramp. Someone who's sleeping rough.
Yes, we know what a tramp is.
I'm just explaining it. It's English.
I think most people know what a tramp is.
Another word for a tramp is a vagrant. Or a homeless person.
Okay, Mika in Japan is going now because this is making no sense.
Surprised.
I think everyone's leaving now. They've had enough. So I will be back on Sunday. Mr. Steve's going now. So
Am I?
Yes.
Okay.
You can stay here.
Deserting your viewers.
Well, you can stay here all night. But
Dereliction of duty.
You can stay here all night, but no one will be watching because we won't be online.
How many people have we got online at the moment?
I don't know, about 6.
But it normally tells you.
I just dread to think.
Well, there's a lot of people making comments.
I don't know.
Can you speak? Someone's saying there, can you speak about something?
Can you speak about something? Yes.
Anything.
Yes, I think that's what they're asking. There's only 50 people watching. That's nothing.
Grief.
Okay, that's it. We're going. 50 people.
No, but those 50 people are very important.
Yes, they are.
And they are very important. They need to be listened to and responded to.
I'm not sure if I want to stay up until midnight, though.
You've been on over an hour.
An hour and 45 minutes.
And I've got to do some work tomorrow. Otherwise, see, if my boss is watching and sees that I'm live at 11:45, he's going to wonder if I'm going to do a good day's work in the morning.
But what I'm wondering is, why is your boss watching us at 11:45?
Ah, he's watching. You're watching, aren't you? I know you are. Because, well, it's Big Brother. They're the company. There's always somebody watching you. And I think he's watching right now, aren't you?
I think Mr. Steve's got a bit of paranoia.
Oh, I'm very paranoid.
I think so.
I'm a paranoid person. I always think that there's somebody watching me, somebody checking up on me. Anyway, I could stay up till 2 o'clock. None of his business.
I hope Mr. Duncan is not hitting you, Steve. No, I never hit Mr. Steve. I might give him the occasional kick up the bum.
Well, why would you do that?
A little kick.
If I'm
just
not
quick kick at
pulling
them.
my weight.
Yeah, that's it. If you're not
in
doing
in the domestic chores department.
I'm trying to find the plug. How do I unplug Mr. Steve? I need to take the plug out.
I'm never going to sleep tonight.
It's like one of these crazy talking robots.
What comments have we got? Let's answer a few comments before we go.
People are now telling me how many people are watching, so that's very good. It's nice to know. The topic tonight, we've talked about lots of things. We've talked about music from the 1980s. We've talked about my broken computer.
Music from the 1980s.
Yeah, when I'm talking, if you talk at the same time as me, no one can understand what we're saying.
I'm interjecting.
No, you're not. You're just being annoying.
So when you interrupt or add something to it, you're interjecting.
Yes, you interject after the person has finished what they're saying. Not during.
Do it when I like, Mr. Duncan.
I'm from Colombia, and
Ooh.
I'm near you. I don't know what that means. Hazette. Hello, Hazette. Hi, guys. This is Lebosson from Brazil. I'm teaching my daughter some English.
Oh.
I am showing her your channel. Oh, a big hello to Lebosson and also to your daughter as well. It's very late here. So I guess where you are, it's early. Maybe in the evening. But
Brazil.
here it's very late. It's now 10 minutes to midnight.
What time is it in Brazil?
It's about,
That's
I would say
west.
it's about, it's coming up
They're
to
behind
maybe,
us, aren't they?
yes, it's about 7 o'clock.
Yes.
7 or maybe 6 o'clock. 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening.
Similar time zone to America, I would think.
Not far off.
I want to go to Brazil. We had somebody on Sunday and I said, please invite me to Brazil. All expenses paid trip.
Steve is very...
I want to go to the rainforest.
I don't know why. Steve is very desperate to go to Brazil.
I don't know why. Just fancy going to Brazil. It must be exciting. I want to see a rainforest.
Maybe I could send you there in a big crate, a wooden crate.
You can buy parts of rainforest, can't you?
I don't know.
Yeah, you can. You can buy it. Like parts of the moon. You can buy a section of the moon.
Who is selling parts of the moon?
There are people selling sections of the moon,
Yeah,
and you can buy it.
Are these the same people that sold London Bridge?
No, but I think NASA are selling it. I don't know. Somebody's selling it. But you can buy sections of the moon.
Arsha. Thank you, Arsha, for your question. And the answer is yes.
What was the question?
In Turkey, it is 2:54 in the morning. So it's nearly 3 o'clock in the morning in Turkey.
What a trooper, staying up, watching us at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Can I just say congratulations on being able to stay awake when you should be asleep? I can't believe that. It's amazing.
Have you got work in the morning? Do you care?
Maybe not. In Colombia, it is 5 hours earlier.
Ooh, I love Colombian coffee.
So
That's my favourite. Whenever I see lots of different coffees, if Colombian coffee is there, I always go for the Colombian coffee. It's smooth, delicious Colombian coffee.
Steve likes to sample the Colombian bean.
I do.
It's
nice and dark, and it's got a nice rich flavour, but it's smooth at the same time.
Okay, we get it. You like Colombian coffee.
I do.
It's 5 minutes
I see
now.
it in the supermarket.
Oh, for goodness sake. It's 5 minutes to 7 o'clock in the evening in Colombia. So I was right. How to pronounce...
smell the coffee now.
How to pronounce the word recipe. Recipe.
Recipe.
Recipe. So the ingredients that you need to put in to a recipe. You make food. You make a cake. You have a recipe that you must follow. The instructions for cooking something is the recipe.
Recipe.
Recipe. Recipe.
Recipe.
Could you please say, oh, thank you for reading my message. We are very excited. By the way, it's 9 in the evening, says Klebson. Klebson's son.
Whereabouts?
Okay. It's 9 in the evening. I can't remember where you are now. I think, wait there a second. Let me just see. Let's see. I can't find it now. It's gone.
7 in the evening.
I'm too popular now, you see. I've got too many people on the live chat, you see. Too many
messages go, they disappear after a few seconds.
I'm too popular.
7 in the evening, so that's probably that's somewhere west of us.
Are you doing your maths again?
I'm trying to work out the time zone where it could possibly be.
Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Is it 2, 5, 1?
Well, west of us is basically the Americas, isn't it? So,
Are you doing the same live stream as me?
I'm trying to work out where 7 o'clock.
Are you on another live stream talking to someone else?
5 hours.
Julia says it's 7 minutes to midnight or 12. So yes, it's now nearly 5 to midnight. So I think we will stay here until midnight, and then when the clock strikes
what you need, Mr. Duncan,
12
in your studio is one of those clocks with all the showing the time zones of all the different countries. That's what you want.
That'd be great. I would have to have lots of clocks though.
Well, because you've got lots already.
Well, I've only got one. I've only got one clock.
I've got one behind me.
Yes, but it tells the same time.
I think we need lots of clocks. Then we need one of those big clocks. Lots of them showing with the names of the time zones. Brazil, America.
Yes, we get it. We know what time.
Malaysia.
Yes, we know what you mean. But people watching understand what you're saying. Yes, we need clocks that show the different time zones.
Yes.
Okay, I've got it. We understand.
And when somebody says it's 7 o'clock, we can look round and we can say, "Oh, there you are."
Yes, there'll be a wall of clocks. I don't think I will have a clue which clock to look at. They will just. So this is Steve's idea that I should have a lot of clocks on the wall telling different times, and I will know exactly which time it is.
Maybe I didn't think it through.
No, you didn't think this through.
Well, 6.
I like your dialogue. You are so funny. Thank you very much. Can we talk about music, please? I started off tonight talking all about music 2 hours ago. I was talking about music from the 1980s because that was when I was young. I was a teenager, young and innocent.
He was never innocent.
I'm innocent now. I'm so innocent. I'm very chaste.
We believe that, you'll believe anything.
In fact, I'm chaste all over the place.
Not anymore.
4 minutes to go. 4 minutes away. I love the British accent, says Pastor Elisu Ramos. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For your lovely message. And yes, we are British. I am British. Steve is British. I'm not sure about human, but he's British.
British or English?
English, yes, of course. English refers to the speech and also to the nationality. So I live in England, but also you can be British, which means you are part of Britain, which includes Scotland, Wales, England, and Northern Ireland. And
Yes.
that's it. I hope I explained that well. I believe that, says Hazette. I don't know what you believe.
What's your favourite singer, somebody said there? Shirley Bassey! Shirley Bassey!
Oh, Shirley.
She's my favourite singer.
Mr. Steve likes Shirley Bassey. Diamonds are forever, forever, forever. Diamonds are forever. And also Goldfinger. Goldfinger. So, yeah.
There you go.
So Steve likes Shirley Bassey.
I also like Tears for Fears.
Tears for Fears.
How about you then? Who's your favourite?
We mentioned Tears for Fears earlier because I said earlier that Mr. Steve likes Tears for Fears and Depeche Mode.
Yes. But Shirley Bassey's my number one.
Northern
I've
Ireland.
got all her albums.
Oh, it says here Northern Ireland is not like Britain. Well, it's kind of the United Kingdom. This always confuses people. It confuses people outside, and it also confuses people in this country. So lots of people get very confused. Yes. So you have the UK, you have Great Britain, you have the British Isles, and then you have the UK, including Wales, Scotland, England, and Northern Ireland. So it gets very confusing.
Yes. And then you've got Ireland on its own.
And then you've got Southern Ireland, which is separate from Northern Ireland. So the north of Ireland is actually part of the UK, if that makes sense. But not for much longer, of course, because everything is changing soon because of Brexit.
Because of Brexit, Southern Ireland's going to remain part of Europe.
So Southern Ireland, the separate part of Ireland, will actually be still part of Europe. And the northern part of Ireland will be part of
the UK.
The UK. It's very confusing.
It's very confusing. Borders. We're getting a bit heavy now.
Mr. Duncan, do you know a book for children called Professor Boffin's Umbrella? I've never heard of that. It sounds very interesting. I guess it involves a professor called Mr. Boffin.
It's nearly midnight.
And I bet he has an umbrella. And I bet he gets into all sorts of adventures with his umbrella. I bet he does. Yes, it's coming up to midnight. We are just a few moments away from midnight.
Are we going at midnight?
There it is, you see, just to prove. Midnight is on the way. Midnight, not a song.
Is that my clock?
This is my clock.
Okay.
This is the clock that sits behind me during my live stream. So we are going in a moment. Look, it is coming up to midnight. Midnight is approaching. And we will go because I have been here for 2 hours.
2 hours?
2 hours I've been standing here.
Have you had a drink in that time?
No.
You must be thirsty.
I'm very
parched.
I'm very thirsty. I need a drink.
Parched.
So we will go soon. It is 2 a.m. in Finland. And also...
Finland. I've been to Finland.
Julia asks, do you think Brexit will happen? Well, some people think it will. Some people think it won't.
Sakari Oramo is your famous conductor in Finland.
Sakari
Oramo. Sakari Oramo. He conducted the Birmingham Symphony Chorus for many years.
Yes.
So he was over here. So that's what I know. And I've performed in Finland in your famous concert hall in your capital.
So Mr. Steve has actually performed in Finland
with a choir. Yes.
Wow.
With Sakari Oramo was conducting. Can't remember what we sung now. No, what was it?
Well, I don't think we've got time to remember the song that you sung
I think it was Dream of Gerontius.
Oh, a Dream of Gerontius.
Yes. I think it was. I think it was. But anyway.
Fascinating.
Music. We're talking about music. Somebody said talk about music, so I'm talking about music.
Well, we started the broadcast, we started the live stream talking about music, and we are going to end it on that note.
Fascinating. Oh, I see. You're telling a joke. A pun.
That's a joke, you see.
A pun. Is it a pun? It's a joke.
Anyway. Who are you calling a pun?
You've got a furry animal here.
Have I? Okay.
Yes.
Just stop stroking it.
It's the cover over Mr. Duncan's microphone.
Yes, why are you telling people about the equipment that's sitting in front of us?
You're telling them all about your computer.
Yes, but that's relevant because it doesn't work and we need the computer. If we don't have the computer, we can't do anything.
It's just working. Your computer's working at maximum at the moment. You ought to have the heat coming off Mr. Duncan's computer when it's working.
Yes.
You could cook an egg on it.
I could.
It's midnight.
Yes, it is midnight. It's gone midnight. It is now officially tomorrow.
Have you told people about the supermoon that we've been having?
Yes, I mentioned the supermoon. We're going to talk about these things on Sunday, so I don't want to use everything up now, or else we'll have nothing to talk about on Sunday. On Sunday, we have lots of things to talk about, including the Doomsday Clock.
Doomsday Clock?
The Doomsday Clock.
Am I going to be reading any Shakespeare this Sunday, Mr. Duncan?
That's ruined my moment there. The Doomsday Clock.
I like the sound of that.
Yes, we are going to do some Shakespeare, hopefully. Mr. Steve will be doing his usual over-the-top acting.
What do you mean, Mr. Duncan?
For goodness sake. Calm
Me?
down.
Over the top?
Yes, a little bit hammy. Slightly. If an actor is on the stage and they overperform, we often say that they are chewing the scenery. It's a great expression, isn't it? And Mr. Steve often chews the scenery.
I've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, that's true. Except your marbles.
So, years ago.
Yes, the beautiful supermoon. Do you like watching Father Ted? Says Miroslaw. Father Ted, yes, a very popular TV show.
You like Father Ted?
I like Father Ted, yes. I like Dougal. Dougal is very funny because he's not very clever. And he often says very silly things. One of my favourite moments in Father Ted is when they both go to bed. They're in the same room but in separate beds. And then Father Ted switches the light off, but then he remembers something he hasn't done. So he switches the light back on straight away. And Dougal thinks it's morning already. And so he just gets out of bed and starts getting dressed. But the light has only been off for about 20 seconds. It is very funny.
It's a strange theme of British comedy. Go on.
Did I explain that well?
You have to watch it. They probably have.
You guys living in the same town. Yes, we are. We live in a beautiful place called Much Wenlock.
Don't tell everyone. They might want to come here.
Yes, I'm sure that I've done a lot for the tourist industry here. I'm sure during the summer, I bet lots of people will be coming to Much Wenlock to try and find me.
Maybe the town council will give you some kickbacks.
Some what?
Kickbacks.
What?
Kickbacks.
What?
Kickbacks.
What do you mean?
Well, for promoting the town and bringing business into the town.
No, I mean, what do you mean by kickbacks?
That's what I'm saying.
What's a kickback?
It's like you get a benefit. Wouldn't say bribe is the wrong word.
Yeah, but kickback often means bribe, to bribe someone.
Well, I was joking,
yes.
Obviously.
I think you mean, yes, maybe a side effect. Maybe a side effect.
Maybe you will get free meals.
Yes.
By promoting, we're always talking about the copper kettle tea rooms. Perhaps we'll get a kickback from there.
Yes, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what he's on about now, to be honest.
I think people know.
It's past Mr. Steve's bedtime.
Oh, I've got a headache, actually.
Yes. So have my viewers. Are you outside YouTube as cool as you look in YouTube? Yes, of course. Every weekend I like to go into town and I walk around. I have a large cape and a black cane, and I walk around like this around Much Wenlock. I say, hello, hello.
He swaggers.
I'm Mr. Duncan. I'm Mr. Duncan from YouTube. I teach English to the world.
He swaggers.
I do.
Through the town.
I've got lots of swag.
We toned it all down for this live YouTube.
Yeah,
this is a toned down version.
This is nothing like what we are like in real life. This is we're much worse.
No, I'm actually a manic depressive. I'm not joking. I'm actually most of the time pretty miserable.
I will agree. Joking. I will agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
It's only appearing on your shows that's keeping me going.
Do you like watching Keeping Up Appearances? That is a funny program.
It is.
It isn't made anymore. From many years ago, the 1980s and 1990s, and there was a lady who was very snobby, very snooty, called Hyacinth. Hyacinth. It's a flower, but also it can be a name as well for a lady. And she was very, very snooty. And she would answer the phone. She would say, Hyacinth Bouquet, the lady of the house speaking. To whom am I speaking to?
It's a very good insight into British culture, that programme.
Especially snooty or snobby people.
Middle-class people in England. That's a very good insight into how middle-class people think.
I like Dire Straits. I often find myself. Yes. I often find myself in dire straits.
Some of the comments he makes on YouTube might get you into dire straits. I've just realised what that pop group, where that name comes from.
What pop group?
Dire Straits.
Dire Straits, yes. To me, dire straits is actually a phrase in English which means to be in a difficult situation or to be down on your luck.
Perilous.
Perilous. Something terrible is happening. You are in dire straits. So yes. it's a real English phrase.
I just realised that often you somebody a name and then you don't realise, you don't actually think of the meaning of it. But there you go, I've learned something.
Yes. Also, Kajagoogoo is a lady with very big calves.
Is it?
No.
He's made that up.
I just made that up.
Anyone knows or remembers Kajagoogoo?
Kajagoogoo. You're too shy, high. Hush, hush, eye to eye. You're too shy, because I'm too shy.
Nick Beggs, if you're watching, I think you had the best voice of all of them.
Nick Beggs does not look the same.
He had a fabulous voice.
Fabulous.
And when he took over as the lead singer and produced their album, it was fabulous. I loved that album, unfortunately. Nobody else. Not many people did.
No, not many people did. I mean, the reference that you're making now,
Nobody knows.
No one. I bet nobody knows who Kajagoogoo is.
I bet they don't. But it was great. I'm trying to think of the name of the album. I can't even remember it.
So, yes. My wife, Klebson, says, my wife, Nubia, is as happy as me because you guys are reading my messages. So hello to Nubia. Hello to Nubia.
Very good on the bass guitar, Nick Beggs was.
Nobody cares.
I'm coming back to Nick Beggs.
Nobody cares about your. Nobody cares about your defunct.
Oh right, Islands.
No.
Islands. That was the name of the album.
Nobody cares.
Islands.
Nobody cares about your stupid pop group.
It's a great album.
Nobody cares. In your city, do people know that you are a YouTuber? Yes, they do, because they've seen me doing it. I filmed around the town. Also, I've done live streams from the centre of the town, and we always get very strange looks from people.
It's not something people think is a normal thing to do. Anyway, I'm going to bed, Mr. Duncan.
Okay, then.
So I'm going to say bye-bye to a tat. Well, I'm not going to say ta-ta because that's what Mr. Duncan says.
Mr. Duncan.
So I'm going to love you and leave you is an expression we use in the UK. I'm going to love you and leave you.
I like the way he looks at me when he says that, just to make sure.
I was looking in the lens.
Oh, I see.
At the 50 people that are still watching.
50? You'll be lucky.
Have you got anyone from America watching?
Yeah, from when you say America, which part?
USA.
The USA, because America is very.
We've got Brazil. We've got South.
Yes, Brazil. Yes, and
who else? Colombia.
Colombia.
We had Brazil, Colombia. Brazilian coffee, of course, is very nice as well.
I sometimes get people from Chile as well. Do you know why? Do you know why Chile is called Chile? Because it looks like a chili.
Is that true? He's making it up again.
But it does look like it. Have you ever noticed on the map the country Chile looks like a chili? It's true. I think that's the reason why. I'm sure it is. Anyway, I'm going now. So
am I.
So you can go now, Steve.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Steve.
I'm going to...
Yes.
Blow kisses at whoever wishes to receive them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to love you and leave you, and I shall see you all on Sunday.
Yes, okay.
And I'll let Mr. Duncan wrap up and say what he usually says, which of course is ta-ta for now.
Yeah, okay.
He always says that.
Yeah, we get that.
So any minute now, I'm going to leave at some point.
Please.
And I'm going to think of something else to say before I go. Is there something else that I need to say before I go? No?
No, just say I'm going.
I'm going. I am going.
That's
Obviously,
yeah,
I'm going. I've got to go at some point.
Yes, we've all got to go. We've all got to go sometime.
Yes, I don't mean it. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to brush my teeth, have a drink of water, gargle on some echinacea because I've got a bit of a sore throat after all the singing.
Are you going to have a poo?
No.
No poo. No midnight poop.
I can only poop between certain specific hours of the day.
Well, on that note...
Because I don't get the urge at other times.
Okay.
That's either between sort of 7:30 and 8:30, or between sort of 4 and 6. Anything outside there, I've got nothing. So anyway, on that note, you see, we're talking about poo. We always talk about poo every single live stream.
No, you're talking about poop.
Right. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Finally. Mr. Steve has gone and I'm going to go as well. Thank you very much for staying with me for the last 2 hours and 15 minutes. I've been standing here in this spot for such a long time. There is someone new here and he enjoyed your live stream. Tell him welcome. Amir. Oh, hello Amir. Did I miss you? I'm sorry about that. Hello to Amir. Apparently Amir is new. Guys, you are very funny. Thank you, Klebson. I am going now. Mr. Steve.
Yes. Did you say something?
No, I wasn't asking you to come back.
I thought you were calling me back.
No.
I just heard my name.
No.
I was having a drink.
I'm not calling you back. I'm just saying, Mr. Steve, what I was going to say was Mr. Steve is now going upstairs.
Oh, aren't we going to do another hour?
No, we're not.
Okay. Bye.
Ah, poor Mr. Steve. Okay, I will see you later. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying thanks for watching for the past 2 hours and 15 minutes. I will see you on Sunday, here on Sunday on YouTube, live from 2 p.m. UK time. I hope you have a good morning or evening, depending on where you are watching. Perhaps you are sitting eating your breakfast at the moment. In fact, it's almost time for me to have my breakfast. If I stay here any longer, I think the sun is coming up. Or is it just the big supermoon? Who knows? I will see you on Sunday. Thanks for watching. And of course, before I go, don't forget, please help Mr. Duncan to get a new computer so I can live stream all the time, every day, forever. And of course, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Take care and ta-ta for now.